السلام عليكم أعزائي التلاميذ، أهلا ومرحبا بكم في قناتكم توفيق ABC English. هذه القناة التي تهتم بشرح دروس اللغة الإنجليزية بالدارجة المغربية لفائدة تلاميذ الثانوي التأهيلي بما في ذلك الجدع المشترك الأولى باكالوريا والثانية باكالوريا. في كل حلقة نقدم درس جديد بشكل مبسط وبجودة عالية. درس اليوم إن شاء الله سيكون حول cultural issues and values، المشاكل الثقافية والقيم. إذا كنتم مستعدين هيا على بركة الله. Discuss the following photos with your partner and share your ideas with the class. Of course, here we have some pictures, and of course, each picture represent, or signify a part of our culture. As you can see on the on the right hand, we have a group of pictures that represent the Moroccan culture. عندنا كيف ما كتشوفوا عندنا على الجهة اليمين واحد المجموعة ديال الصور اللي كترفليكتي ولا كتريبريزونتي الثقافة المغربية. For example, قصر أيت بن حدو it represent the Moroccan architecture. We have camel riding, dressing, Moroccan map and the Moroccan flag, etc. On the other hand, we have other pictures that reflect or represent the Moroccan culture, like spices, like pottery, like teapots, gateways, etc. Okay, and all these things are aspects of culture. When you say aspects of culture, فاش كنقولوا aspects of culture هي مميزات كل ثقافة. For example, greeting, drinks, food, social habits, architecture, folklore, etc. These are aspects of culture. Well, next, listen and repeat. So here we have got different pictures that represent the Moroccan culture, of course, and we have number one is camel trekking. So camel trekking, henna tattoo, food tagine, historical monument, and then flag. Religion, folklore, landscape, marriage ceremony, and finally menti. As you can see, these are some, aspects of Moroccan culture. We're going to go into details in the next. Fill in the word map with the relevant words to culture. يعني فاش كنقولوا fill in the words with relevant words to culture ملأ الخانة هذه بالمصطلحات اللي عندها علاقة بالثقافة. Okay, you can make pause to the video until you finish and then check the correction. Start with food. So concerning food, in Morocco we have different kinds of food. We have, for example, tangia, we have tagine, we have couscous. Okay. For example, there are other القوفية, for example, in Sahara, and we have also the المعقودة in Fez, etc. Concerning drinks, there is local milk, and the famous one is tea, Moroccan man tea. Dressing. In talks about dressing, we have قفطان, جلابة, جبادور, تكشيطة, etc. These are types of dressing or clothes that Moroccan people wear. Building. So in terms of building, we have riads and قصبة, قصور, etc. And social habits. When we talk about social habits, we talk about, for example, how Moroccan greet each other. And in terms of greeting, Moroccan greet each others either by shaking hands or kissing each other on their cheeks or hugging each other and tapping on their shoulders as well. كيفاش كنهضروا على social habits في greeting, for example في الخليج الناس كي يتسالموا مع بعضياتهم باستعمال الأنف. Okay, and it's a part of culture, of course. Okay, so this what we mean by social habits. Religion is Islam. And then also we have language. In terms of languages, we have Tamazight, we have Arabic, and we have French, and lately we have even English. In terms of music, there are different kinds of music in Morocco. There is popular, العيطة, الراي, الشعبي, which is popular, and we have also the Gnawa, etc. Folklore is the traditional music and dance. The traditional music and dance, like Ahwash, Ahidus, الركبة رقادة القدرة etc. And of course this folklore represent each part of Morocco and parts of Moroccan culture. Celebrations, we talk about celebrations. We have three categories of celebrations. We have national celebrations, sacred celebrations and local celebrations. فاش كنهضروا على الاحتفالات عندنا ثلاثة ديال الأنواع ديال الاحتفالات، احتفالات وطنية واحتفالات دينية واحتفالات محلية. For example, when you say الاحتفالات الوطنية national celebrations like Green March, like Throne Day يعني عيد العرش والمسيرة الخضراء. sacred celebrations like عيد الفطر and عيد الأضحى, and local celebrations like how Moroccan people, for example, celebrate marriage or birthday, etc. Something that is local, okay? And also we have historical monuments. When we talk about historical monuments, it's like Hassan Tower, and Hassan II Mosque, and also Kutubiyya Tower, etc. And we have historical places like Jam' al-Fna Square and other places that are, very famous in Morocco. We have symbols. Symbols هما الرموز الثقافية ولا الرموز الوطنية like a flag and map, etc. كالخريطة والراية ولا العالم الوطني. And then we have traditions. When we talk about traditions, we mean by that customs, which is taqalid, and it differs from place to place and from culture to culture. And then we have beliefs. When you say beliefs, it's المعتقدات, what people believe in. For example, in Morocco, when people knock on the wood, they call it سكوكو. فين فاش كيدق شي واحد فوق شي خشبة ولا فوق شي حيط ولا في شي طابلة ولا في شي حاجة تيقولوا الناس سكوكو بمعنى براو الباس etc. Which means that they wish something not to happen. But in the American culture, if someone knocks on the wood, it means that they wish something to happen, which means that the same act but with different meaning and interpretation. Okay, so and this is beliefs. Each act of these acts has a reference. In the Moroccan culture, it has a bad reference, so Moroccan wish something not to happen. But in the American act, it has something that is good, and people believe or wish that it could happen. Okay, so and this is a part of superstitions and beliefs, etc. Next, shocks and issues. When I say shocks and issues like المشاكل الثقافية, etc. And it happens sometimes. For example, in Morocco, it is common to burp when you are eating, as far as you say Alhamdulillah or Astaghfirullah. But in other cultures, it's not accepted. Okay, and this is a cultural shock, an act of cultural shock. And also we have values. When we talk about values are like hospitality, friendship, tolerance, cooperation, coexistence, and collaboration, etc. These are justice, etc. These are values, قيم. So I'd like you to work in pairs and give a short definition to culture. يعني قدر تكون تخدم بوحدك اشنا هو مفهوم الثقافة بناء على هادشي اللي شفناه. As a definition, we can say the customs and beliefs, art, way of life, and social organization of a particular group, country or group. فاش كنهضروا على الثقافة تنقولوا الثقافة هي مجموعة من التقاليد والعادات والمعتقدات، الفن، أسلوب الحياة والتراتبية الاجتماعية لدولة أو لمجموعة من الأشخاص. This is Oxford definition. So when talk about culture, what is cultural issues and values? As a definition of the title, we have cultural issues are problems and conflicts among people due to cultural differences. يعني هما المشاكل والصراعات اللي تتوقع ما بين الناس بسبب الاختلافات الثقافية. For example, symptoms of culture shocks are homesickness, boredom and depression. To make it clear for you, إلا خدينا شي شخص ودينا لشي ثقافة أجنبية، مثلا ناخدو شخص مغربي ونديوه لشي بلاصة في الصين, and everything for him will be totally different. The language, the atmosphere or the weather, the behaviors, the kind of thinking, the food, everything is different. So, and that person, of course, will feel like he is out of, out of water. It's like a fish out of water. So, and he will feel homesickness, boredom, and depression. يعني إلا خدينا شي واحد وديناها لشي ثقافة اللي هي غريبة عليه وما بعيدة عليه كل البعد، يعني ما تقدرش يتعايش مع الناس، وبطبيعة الحال هذا الشيء تيؤدي للملل، ومن طبيعة الحال في آخر المطاف يقدر يكون الاكتئاب. Concerning values, we talk about values are the norms that a society sets for its life and dealing among its members. For example, we can say tolerance, cooperation, and justice. These are values. Okay, hospitality, etc. And by the way, when we talk about cultures, there is no good or bad culture, but what is appropriate in one culture may not be acceptable in the other. فاش كنهضروا على الثقافة راه ما كايناش ثقافة زوينة وثقافة خايبة، كل الثقافات يعني تحترم، يعني ما يمكن او لا اللي مقبول في هذه الثقافة يقدر يكون غير مقبول في ثقافة أخرى، وهذا شيء عادي وأمر عادي وطبيعي بطبيعة الحال. Next, what is culture? A simple definition to culture is culture refers to the way of life of a group of people in a specific place. كتعريف بسيط ومبسط للثقافة تنقولوا هي أسلوب حياة، منهج حياة، lifestyle. In another word, we can say it's the way of life or the lifestyle of a group of people in a specific area. عندنا ثلاثة ديال الحاجات: lifestyle, group of people, specific area. يعني lifestyle أسلوب حياة ديال واحد مجموعة ديال الأشخاص في واحد المكان محدد. This is culture. I want to talk about culture like this. It can be we can go from very simple or very specific places to very global places. Okay, from specific culture to global culture. يعني within the same culture we may have different cultures. Okay. نموذجا في المغرب إلا كنا كنهضروا على الثقافة، إلا خدينا مثلا الثقافة الصحراوية within the same culture, within the Moroccan culture there is a variety. الثقافة الصحراوية، الثقافة المراكشية، الثقافة الشمالية أو الوجدية، الثقافة الفاسية, etc. So it differs from place to place within the same culture. And we talk about culture, we have two categories of culture. We have material culture and non-material culture. So concerning material culture, it is known as physical products. And it includes furniture, food, books, and also these tangible objects are man-made. فاش كنهضروا على الثقافة المادية هي كل الأشياء الملموسة، كل الأشياء اللي ممكن نشوفوها، ممكن نحسوا بها، ممكن نلمسوها، يعني وكلها من صنع الإنسان. For example, as you can see in the pictures, we have صالون مغربي، وعندنا البناية ديال القصر مثلا، وعندنا واحد المجموعة ديال الزرابي إلى غير ذلك. These are man-made. هذا الشيء صنع الإنسان. Okay. Non-material culture refers to or known as abstract products، يعني المسائل اللي هي مجردة. And also it includes beliefs, customs and manners. كيف ما كنشوفوا في الصور عندنا واحد المجموعة ديال for example language. When we talk about language, it's non-material culture. ثقافة شفهية لا مادية. For example, the way of thinking, beliefs, المعتقدات. فاش كنديروا هذيك when you cross your fingers، فاش تنقولوا cross your fingers, it differ from culture to culture. مثلا في الامريكان culture say cross your fingers when you hope something that could happen. cross your fingers for the best، يعني تتمنى شي حاجة زوينة توقع. But when in Moroccan cultures, if you cross your fingers and you hide it behind your back، إلا درتي إلا بحال كيف ما في الصورة عندنا، شنو كتعني؟ يعني واخا تكذب مع هانية ماشي مشكل. اوكي it's like راه كذب ديك الساعة كيف ما بغيتي، ما كيتسجلوش عليك. اوكي well these are parts of beliefs and yeah, it's a kind of beliefs. Anyway, classify the following items into material culture or non-material culture. We have a group of vocabulary or ideas, and your job is to classify them into the chart into material culture or non-material culture. Building, for example, material culture. ideas, cooking utensil, material culture, phones, clothes. These are material cultures. We can touch them. Non-material culture like ideas, family patterns, music, superstitions, الخرافات ولا الشعوذة, languages, and rules. These are non-material culture. هادو مسائل اللي هي ممكنش ثقافة اللي هي لا مادية. Okay. Study the following sentences and give more examples. Behaviors that are culturally accepted in Morocco. As you can see, in each culture, there are behaviors that are accepted and other behaviors that are not accepted or offensive. For example, it is common, I think it is common to share the same plate in Morocco. في المغرب عادي أن الناس يحطوا واحد الطبسيل في الطاولة ويتشاركوه كاملين يأكلوا منه. It's common. In other cultures, maybe each one should have his own plate. Number 2, it is culturally appropriate to try any food offered to you. من طبيعي ومن العادي ثقافيا أن شي واحد عطاك شي حاجة تاكلها عرض عليك كذا راه it's okay. Number 3, it is accepted to live with your family after you get married. So in Morocco it is common. شي حاجة اللي هي ثقافيا مقبولة أن الواحد يتزوج ويبقى مع والديه. In other cultures it's not accepted. Behaviors that are culturally offensive in Morocco, for example, it is rude to say bad words in public. على الرغم من أن الناس كيديروا هادشي الله يهديهم, but it's culturally inappropriate, it's not accepted, and it's rude. When I say it's rude, it means it's impolite to say bad words in public. Next, we can say it is offensive to shout at older people. And also, it is culturally inappropriate to kiss your wife in public. في الثقافة المغربية ما مقبولش أن الواحد يقبل الزوجة ديالو أمام الملأ in public places. Okay. So these are some behaviors that are culturally accepted and culturally inappropriate in Morocco. So please try to think of some other behaviors that are culturally accepted or offensive in your own culture. Try to share it in the comment, and thanks for that. Thank you so much for watching, and thanks for watching the lesson. I hope that you have understood the lesson and you like it. Don't forget to subscribe and share the content with your friends and colleagues. إلى هنا نكون أعزائي قد وصلنا إلى نهاية الحلقة. أتمنى أن يعجبكم محتوى وأن تكونوا حقيقة استفدتم من هذه الحصة. لا تنسوا الاشتراك ومشاركة المحتوى مع زملائكم حتى تعم الفائدة. لا تنسونا من صالح دعائكم، وإلى درس جديد، وشكرا.